work with. So when I had windows in the early stages where I realized my passion was outweighing my actual finance, you know, there comes a point when you have to rein it back and you have to stop and say, hold on a second, what is it going to take me to get to this level and that level and build my steps up? So for me, sometimes, you know, I've had to step back and look at the bigger picture and look.
So we can see more of you and not of me. Because you're the guy in the story.
Man.
Okay. Hey guys. Welcome
Hey.
to my channel, the Be You Do You channel. And we have the amazing FitMe Clothing Tex-Mex.
Hello everybody, how are you?
Welcome, welcome. So tell me, how are you?
I'm alright, it's been a busy few months. Lots has happened over the summer. Managed to do our first successful fashion show.
Congratulations.
London Fashion Week, which was on the 14th of September, followed by a 1-week pop-up in House of Fraser, Oxford Street. So that was super, really, really good. Well
House
received.
of Fraser, yes, I do remember that one.
Yeah, so I have to say it was better than I expected, and a real good introduction to the brand for many people that came down. Obviously, there's been a lot of people supporting the cause, but it kind of came to life on that day for me. It felt like a special moment, so it was good. And then followed up, looking to do a festival event next week.
Yes.
Which is in Walthamstow Town Hall, so that should be good. Next Sunday, people. So 16th
Sunday,
of December,
guys.
we'll be down there with.
I guess I need to make
Barbers.
sure I edit it and send it. Putting pressure on me. Okay, that's fine.
It's gonna work quickly.
Put the content out. Okay, that's fine. It's okay. No pressure. No pressure at all.
But yeah, no. So yeah, life is good. It's been busy, and just want to really kick on and just sell the brand story, get people knowing more about FitMe Clothing, checking us out, and being able to involve
Okay.
themselves in some of the
So tell
exciting
me,
ways.
for the ones that are, if you guys are new, Tex has a FitMe Clothing, so a brand, a sportswear brand. If you want to tell a little bit more about it.
Yeah, so it's a London-inspired brand. FitMe Clothing is the overall brand. It does have 4 collections.
Okay.
So essentially, streetwear style brand, lifestyle brand. Really kind of, I think my most important aspect is really trying to connect with the audience. So the audience being the customers, the people that I feel can really reach out significantly to the brand. So you've got Fit Me Bold, which is one collection, Fit Me Nerd, Fit Me Retro, and
Which
Fit
you're
Me
wearing
Smart.
right
So I'm
now,
wearing one of
Fit
my
Me.
nerd pieces. And the idea is really that, you know, I want to bring back some fun to fashion. I want to bring my own interpretation of what, you know, growing up in London predominantly, being from a Caribbean background, but growing up in London, for me it was important to just try and find a way and create a niche in a fun line which enables people to be different and express themselves in different ways, but then also being part of a kind of unique family. So I kind of feel like the uniqueness of the brand is more about the people behind it, the fact that you feel like you can probably reach out and touch members of the brand family, and also that we don't always take ourselves too seriously. We like to have a bit of fun. We like to be a bit provocative with the fashion, a bit bright, a bit loud, a bit crazy. And the thing is that it's not trend specific. So you know, you can be you and find a way to create your own style whilst being in a brand. And I think you can probably, you know, connect with that whole being you and some of the terms and the slogans that you tend to use with some of the stuff that you do. I think
Be you, do you.
yeah, I think it's important. So for me, it's my interpretation of a streetwear style brand, and ultimately it does resonate in different areas. The thing is, for me, it's important to be able to let people know who we are, what we're doing, and if they want to be a part of that Fit Me family, then feel free, come and join us and come and find out more about us. There's so much that we're trying to do in the coming months.
So much and so little time.
100%.
Crazy, yeah. So how did, because Fit Me is something that you started, and actually it's not long ago you started. Like, is it 2 years?
Yeah, to be honest with you, it's...
How did you start? Because, you know, some people may be looking at this and be like, well, you don't look very young, I must say.
Oh, excuse me. Okay.
Your skin is fly. But for the ones that, you know, think that, oh, they've done this normal 9-to-5 job, they can't do it anymore because they're too old, they're too late, as they say.
Yeah.
What is your background, as one question? And second, how did you overcome the fear of, you know, I think I'm too old to do this?
Well, the thing for me is like my background is design and architecture. I kind of started off in design and then moved more into architecture through my career.
Okay.
But I've always had a keen eye on fashion. Always, grew up. I guess I'm blessed with a mum and dad at the time who didn't think it was weird to try and put me in some nice clothing, some designer clothing as a kid. And maybe I got a flavour for it when I was a bit younger. But that aside, for me, I always had an eye on fashion growing up. And the thing for me was that this idea has been an idea, for many, many years, and maybe the time wasn't right to really kick on with it because work at the time in my actual chosen profession was quite demanding with a lot of big projects. I worked predominantly in retail as well, so done a lot of retail design and worked with some big companies over the years. So again, that also cemented my vision on terms of fashion. So working with retailers, working with big shopping centres, I kind of got a lot of exposure and in between. And for me, I simply wanted to just, I look at what's out there, I look at the different things, and for me, I don't feel like I align with any particular brand where I feel like I'm going to be super loyal to this or the other. And I kind of wanted to create something that maybe people can find a connection with and find some loyalty. And so for me, that was the main reason for really taking a plunge last year, really. I mean, the brand's been alive and kicking probably about a year. It started as a concept, but, really, really was well received the back end of last year. Did a few small shoots and just did some product testing and, tried to get the feelers out in terms of what people were feeling and sensing about the brand. And then it kind of, snowballed really from there, and kind of I got good feedback, good energy. And then I decided to really just kick on and push it forward. And in answer to your question about the age thing, like for me, 100%, maybe if someone had said to me, hey, would you have done this, 10 years ago? I mean, I'm 41 now. Would I have done this 10 years ago? The answer is yeah. The idea was in its infancy, probably.
There was a seed somewhere that your mom put into, or that you picked up somehow.
Yeah, but the thing is for me, probably the biggest thing for me was when I turned 40 years old and I had a conversation with a couple of key people in my life at that time, and I think I realised at that point, when you hit a milestone age of any nature, you reflect. You look at
what you reflecting?
I was reflecting. I reflected and I thought to myself, if I don't do it now, then ultimately I will never do it. And for me, the biggest thing I can probably say to people out there is that, you have to follow any burning desires that keep reoccurring and the urge to do it or to give it a go. You have to listen to your heart, you have to listen to your head. And sometimes you can't always listen to people around you because, as you know, people, if they don't understand it, the logic suggests stay in design and architecture, retire at a respectable age, live a 9 to 5, do a 9 to 5, and maybe don't pursue some of the things. It didn't
resonate with you.
It didn't sit right with me. My motivation's always been to try and do more and learn more. So that always keeps me unified and keeps me focused on a trail that I will never get complacent on what I'm doing. And for me, turned 40 years old, decided to just take the plunge and really, really take the project seriously and take it from a hobby more into a lifestyle and a business. And for me, maybe in hindsight, everything happens for a reason in terms of the timing, because I am older and wiser now. But in terms of the connection with people, I think I'm a social being by nature, and I have a lot of people around me that vary in age, but I still have a connection with them regardless of their age. And I felt that that's a strong position, that I'm in a very unique position.
Well, you actually are in a unique position because you started with word of mouth with your brand. And I think that's your strength, because now you have your, if I may jump, you have your webpage, but all your clients before you had that webpage came from word of mouth. Like, I saw something on social media and I need a size MSL or whatever it was, and you would be able to provide it because you have that connection in your photo shoots. If you guys have not checked out, go and check out his social media. His photo shoots are very much, they're you and I. Like, everybody has their own personality. Whatever can bring to the table, then it's fine. You're not looking for the sort of, what would you call, modeling magazine sort of style where you need this skinny model. You're looking for whoever resonates with your brand.
Yeah.
And I think that's your strength today.
Yeah, and the thing is that it's that's why I use the term FitMe family. FitMe family is a massive part
You
of
love,
everything.
yes, you say that often.
And,
I love
and
that.
and the idea of that is that yes, I created the brand, and ultimately it kind of indirectly has my name above the door. But the reality is it's based around the people that wear and connect with it. You know, some people say, where who is this ultimate being that you want to see wearing your stuff? Who is that ultimate avatar? But the reality is that I think it is unfair to put anybody in that category, because the reality is for every goddamn body.
Yeah.
But for me, seriously, it's important for people to be able to find some connection with it. You're not expected to like every single piece, because life isn't
No,
like
because
that.
everybody like
Life isn't
no,
like
you
that.
can't expect one customer to like everything and to buy everything. He may not resonate with your nerd collection, but he may resonate with the bold collection or a bright pink that you have on your webpage, or maybe a black t-shirt that just suits him better. So okay.
And the thing is, for me, like you said about the whole word of mouth customers, I kind of started doing customizations before even really establishing the brand, so to speak. So people knew that through creativity, through ideas, through conversations, I could create something for them. So I had scenarios in the early days where I would know there's specific interests in certain people, and when doing my my research and that sort of customer research and things like that, I created things off the cusp based on what people would be talking about in that moment, and then presenting it without them even expecting it.
Yeah, you went further ahead by listening to what they were saying.
Yeah.
And then putting it into action. And of course, what you do too is you don't do large quantities, if I am correct. You do small quantities. Can we talk about that and where you produce your products?
Yeah, so at the moment, what it is that the idea is that I like the uniqueness of having a limited edition items. So, we don't do, crazy runs of thousands upon thousands of pieces, because we also appreciate that people like that exclusive nature to a brand, like the limited edition, like also seasonal pieces. I don't always believe purely on trends, like I said before, but what we'll do is we will have some bits that are specific trend related, but the idea is that the things we like to use organic cottons. We like to get things made not on a mass-produced level. So, we look at closer to home. We look at where we can maybe source and manufacture in Europe, in London, and try and keep it contained into certain regions, purely not just from a logistics point of view, but also from a quality point of view. We want to know that our customers don't have to wait long for pieces. We also want to know that when they're getting something that is maybe exclusive to London lifestyle culture, something that can be proud to be said it's been made in the UK, and also celebrate the fact that we don't have to run further afield to get things, but then also you can get something that is very specific to you at a very specific moment when you need it the most. So that for me is still an important piece. And although I do see the brand going forward being down your high street possibly, and across the waters and wherever you may be, it will still be very specific places that you can get it. Ultimately, it's an online environment. We have a great online store at the moment, but the idea is that there will be certain stockists that will have the exclusive rights to be able to sell some nice custom pieces.
Nice.
And I think it's important for me
we
to
like custom pieces.
Yeah, it's important because as well, I understand not everybody is from the UK,
of course,
and it's not as easy to get things. It's not accessible for things over in the UK. So we are looking at different regions and where we can have a strong voice in those regions to be able to reach our customers that way. And obviously we've got an online presence across most of the social media, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Instagrams.
You're on Twitter?
Yeah, recently on
I
Twitter.
didn't know that. You're tweeting.
Yeah, just a little bit now. Just a little bit. Need to get my tweeting skills up to scratch.
But the tweet, so good luck.
But we're getting there. The idea is to reach out to the audience and let the audience know what we're doing.
Okay.
Excited about Pinterest as well, because Pinterest for me, as we've had a discussion recently.
Yes, we have. Great things happening, dog.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot of interesting and exciting things to look forward to. But I think that the Pinterest aspect is almost a double spectrum, because I think you've got the great viewing of nice products that we're going to obviously have imagery of, you know, lifestyle images, etc. But then also the style guides and the various different things, and how you can really create some really cool looks with streetwear. So there is one individual who is looking to be on that boat, and I think it's you, Olivia, isn't it? You're looking to...
For 2 minutes, I was like, "What is he saying?" You caught me there. Okay.
Yeah. So there's a few exciting projects.
No, there are a few things that we have, which reminds me, I'm not wearing our t-shirt. You know what? I'm just gonna cut this, and I'll be back and go and get it.
Still in relatively good condition without the
It
sleeves.
is. Wait for it. It is, guys. It is. It's always like nicely loved, etc. Remember, I'm telling you, I take care of my stuff, and I like it. I wash it so nicely. Like I'm like, it has to be okay. It has to be perfect. Like remember, guys, so I do postcards. This is Tex's interview, but we're doing a short little ad campaign for Olivia Igwe. So remember these postcards that I do? So you are perfect just the way you are. Well, we put them on a t-shirt. Yes, we did. I customized it a little bit. I must say
sleeves. No sleeves.
I cut the sleeves. I know you like sleeves, but I wanted to make it special, so I just cut it. But it looks amazing. It looks a little worn out, but I like it. I like it that way. So, yeah, we have a few things in store for you guys, but we can't say much because it's gonna be a surprise. But yeah, this is one of the things why I must say Tex and I really did get along. We met through a friend of a friend who put us in contact, and it was what, a month? How long was this ago? Like was it? 2 months ago?
No. It was maybe 6 months ago or a bit longer.
Yeah.
And it's it's a guy, Antonio, who respects highly as a man, and a very, very good colleague as well at my previous job. And when someone says you should meet somebody, I think you two definitely can connect and stuff. And from the day that obviously met you 100%, and the creativity.
Yeah, we just concepts, like clicked straight away. Like,
and when I saw these cards, seriously, I was like, I immediately saw the vision on that. And she makes a comment about this being old and raggedy, but let's be honest, right? You've lived in this since you had this.
So this like if I could wear it every single day, I would. But I just 200
washes, ladies and gentlemen. So the reality is that it still looks pretty goddamn good. So at the end of the day. The concept of how we're going to collaborate will all be revealed, but there is some really, really cool postcards with some really, really key significant wording as well. I think the imagery with the wording really resonates, especially with the Bold collection and some of the pieces that I do currently. And I think it's an important thing to really celebrate other people's creativity. So another thing that's probably very special about the brand in particular is the fact that I collaborate with people that I feel have the connection and the understanding of the brand, and it also helps to build a stronger brand identity by being able to incorporate some really skilled and gifted people as part of the FitMe family. Because for me, it takes individuals, not just myself. It takes so many different individuals, different creatives to be able to create an environment where someone can see something and be like, "Wow, this is great," because it's not just a piece, it's an artistic piece, it's got personality, it's got character, and it's got a narrative.
I know.
And it's got a narrative. So for me, that's why I think that this is an exciting project, certainly for 2019.
I'm really super excited, and even for you and I, like a creative, to be able to say, look, we come from two different backgrounds. We may not know each other very well, but we just clicked creatively, and with working together and supporting each other as a community, and for what we love doing, I think that's just perfect. Because even I'm looking, apart from this, this is amazing and I can't wait. But even the photography that you get, your team of photographers that you have, the guys that do the videos, the modeling, it takes a huge amount of teamwork to be able to pull this together. And you have so many great people surrounding you. I'm thinking from Daniel to the other Daniel to Babe to Jason helping you out. It's crazy how you know, small little team, but niche, unique, and creative people can just like bring it on another level.
I mean, you made a valid point about the whole connection with different people, and for me, like the way this journey is kind of evolved, it's been quite unique. I mean, Daniel Nicoletti, is my Dutch connection. I met him through social media, and there is truth in social media, people, that you actually can meet some genuine people. Not all of them are genuine, let's be honest.
No, it must be
You
true.
can get a few, should we say, interesting characters online, but more importantly, I met a guy who, you know, we reached out via social media, who's now become very prominent part of the project, the FitMe Clothing project. And this guy's talents, you know, surpassed any expectations I ever had, from a photography level and from a community level. He's introduced me to a huge amount of people from Amsterdam and neighbouring cities, and as a result, I actually have not only a London-based family, but
you
also
have an
Amsterdam family, and these are people that are from all different walks of life. You know, some have modelled before, some have never modelled before, but generally they're all creative, from the dance arena right through to photography, music, etc. And what's been really, really nice is that I've been able to do shows and shoots with them, home and abroad. And so they are very much a part of the family. But what's nice about it is that, you know, we all have a common goal. You know, we all have our strengths, our weaknesses, but we all have a common goal.
But you blend it together for it to be just something perfect.
It's been special. And I mean, even, you know, as part of the whole, you know, the last few months, I was able to not only do a photo shoot over in Amsterdam as well during the summer, but I was also able to really, really give a special thank you back by inviting some of them over for the recent fashion show. So
let's talk about that. So you did a fashion show in the House of Fraser.
Yep, sure.
Tell us about that. How did that go? Like,
I mean, that was
2018 has been good to you.
Yeah, it's been
good.
It's been very, very difficult to multitask.
I know.
You know, at the end of the day, let's be honest. You know, men are not the best at multitasking.
I was just about to say that men do not know how to multitask. But hey,
you know, but I've not done too badly. I have to admit, though, it's
the
not
lucky woman which was with you.
Yeah.
She is lucky.
She definitely is. She probably won't say she is, but she definitely is. But for me, it's quite important to know that I've had a lot of support over the last few months. It's all good and well, you know, me sitting here and saying, hey, you know, just, you know, these great things have happened, but it has actually been a journey which, you know, there's been some people that have really, really helped to make that journey a reality. For me, the whole House of Fraser concept, again, it comes back down to having a creative like MK HSA Barbers. He's a lifelong friend, over 20 odd years, and he is an award-winning barber, ladies and gentlemen, hair tattooing, hair styling. He's absolutely amazing. And when we had an opportunity to work together on quite a unique project, which is basically a fashion show, but with not only a streetwear fashion show, but with that creative edge of hair tattooing and hair styling, so creating unique hairstyles that would then fit in well with the dynamics of the clothes that were being worn on that event. So the fact that we were able to join forces from a collective nature,
it was amazing.
It was really, really good, and him bringing his creative flair merged with mine, it really, really worked well, and it seemed to be really well received. And as a result of that, it then manifests itself into a pop-up. I had a pop-up in House of Fraser for a week, straight on the back of that, which again really gave me an opportunity to bring my modest brand to the
House of Fraser,
to the streets of Oxford Street, and let people know, you know, my name, and let people know what we're trying to create. And the thing for me is that what was really celebrated, I think more importantly, was the fact that it felt honest, it felt genuine, it felt fun, it felt fresh, it felt unique.
It does, but I must say that comes from you also as a designer. That's how you are. What we see in the clothes and the pieces reflects the designer too. So that's amazing. And even the fashion show, I have to congratulate you on the fact that it wasn't just a normal, you know, you sit down, you go to a fashion show and that's it. No, you had a few dancers that just opened the show, did the dance, and then after every person that was on the runway had their own style, had their own move to make it unique. And there was no like, you have to do this, you have to do that. It was like, come with who you are, bring what you have to the table, and then we'll just blend it together. And that, I think that's what the people that were supposed to be there were there to
I think it's a brilliant thing, because you've hit the nail on the head in terms of like that connection. The thing is, it's an all-inclusive kind of environment, and everybody there played their part. Every model played their part. And I remember even with the recruiting process of the models, we had a couple of rehearsals and stuff, but I remember reaching out to people, putting out an ad, and knew what I was really looking for. I wanted to create a situation where there was different characters in there, because at the end of the day, we are not all a size zero. We are not all a particular height. And I don't want anyone to think to themselves, hey, I can't wear that because it's not built for me, it's not built for my frame, or it's not built for my race or whatever else. For me, that is absolutely ridiculous. There is ways where you can break boundaries and cross bridges without discriminating, without losing yourself and losing your identity. For me, I think that is probably the one thing about the way the brand is for me, reflects the character of maybe who I am, because I've always lived in a diverse environment, and I feel one thing about London and this whole brand is that, yes, it's London inspired, but it's London inspired for many different ways and many different reasons.
And you're inspired, but you make it your own.
Yeah, because there's a lot of different nationalities in somewhere like London.
Even London itself, it's just multicultural.
There's no way you can.
Just speak to one person.
Yeah, you can't. The language is not. The way conversations happen these days. Let's think about it. Even if you look at social media, for example, you're talking to multiple people. You're talking to people who've got different, origins, religious beliefs, etc. So you got to know that your conversation is current. But also that different nationalities are going to appreciate what you're trying to say. So for me, the message is really to connect with different people, because ultimately they will see the brand story. They'll understand that there's different characters behind the brand that actually make up the full piece. And the idea is that someone will probably find some kind of connection with that. And that's the hope and belief that this isn't just a situation where people think, okay, that's a nice piece, but actually how it's come about and what was it based upon, because there's always a narrative to what we try and do and achieve, and for me that's a strong hold on what the brand's about, really.
So what is 2019? Do you have any plans?
Well, the plan,
in a nutshell, if you know or not.
Yeah, well, I mean, there is, let's put it this way, I have massive hopes for 2019, and mainly as well getting out there a lot more in terms of home and abroad, meeting people about the brand, really, going on the road a bit more as well, doing a few more pop-ups. Doing a few more pop-ups in and around the country, so that we can really engage some people from up north and various different neighbouring parts as well.
Scotland.
Yes, at the end of the day, I think it's important to reach out. But also, there is a plan to do some really cool pop-ups with some nice, cool themes during the course of next year. So we're in the plan of getting those bits and pieces ready. So hopefully, I can't say too much, but hopefully the first one will be very close and dear to my heart in an area that I know very well, and in an area where it all began. So for those that maybe know, that might give them a bit of a clue in terms of the location, but the idea is to...
Okay, so we're not getting anything right now, guys. So if you know Tex, then you're great. If you don't know him, good luck.
Let's put it this way.
Yes, put it in a special way, please.
Put it this way. I was born in London, and I was born in a particular location in London. So in that location is where I'm looking to happen, my first kind of key concept pop-up for the first part of next year.
Interesting.
So you can Google it, you can try and find out, but you'll be in the know very soon. But the idea is to definitely be out and about, get people more experience in the brand, because for me as well, I think that when you come and meet the characters behind the brand, when you come to the pop-ups, and
when you meet the person, I think I always like it. Even for me, there are brands that I like, and there are some that I dislike, but the ones that I do like are the ones where I know the designer. I have loads of friends that are designers and create stuff, and I want to support them by knowing more about them. for example, Mona B that we had last week on the podcast. So she does African beach towels. But even that, her product is unique. It's her product.
Yeah.
You know, she started it with what she wanted or what she liked when she was younger. She just put it in something. So knowing that it's her brand, it's still a small company, but she loves what she does. Whereas, you know, if you go to some other brands, which are much bigger, you still like them, but everybody has them. So what makes you special to that brand, you know? Because everybody has them. So are you, I have a question, are you living in your purpose?
Well, I think I'm definitely making progress. I definitely feel like, I think for me, the last 2 months have been, in particular, a kind of game changer in terms of shifting perspective, looking at this as a more of a project which is going to really, really harness me long term, because I feel like since the fashion show and since the pop up, this has really become real in terms of like the passion and the drive is there. I'm excited about, you know, 2019 and what that has to bring, and definitely feel for every, you know, week on week the purpose and the passion grows. Yeah, 100%, because as you're aware, I was living a double life and doing 2 jobs and everything else, and ultimately being in a position where I can really grab the reins on this project and really bring it to the fore and let people know, you know, far and wide what this project's about and why they need to get involved and why they need to be a part of this project. Because for me, it's not being built just for me and just for my purpose. It's too, also for others. There's so many things that are developing in the background relating to the FitMe Clothing brand itself, from the models that get involved, from the creatives that get involved, from the collaborative. You know, you're a collaborator, so you know you're gonna be involved in different aspects of this project. And for me, that's what it's about. It's about celebrating new designers, old designers as me. But
was designers, you wanted to say.
You know,
41 but getting to 50.
Yeah, but for me, you know, like the age for me, let's be honest, peeps, you know, you're as old as you feel, and ultimately I still feel like I have a substantial amount to give, but I also appreciate the fact that I have a unique skill to be able to reach out to people and to communicate with different types of people. And for me, that is a key part of what the brand's about. So, you know, definitely the future's bright. I just want more people to know about the brand and get involved and understand what we're trying to build, essentially. So that this time next year, the interview is in a different setting, maybe somewhere really, 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 really special, somewhere abroad.
Okay.
Because I don't want to be here at Christmas next year. I like the heat. I love London. Sometimes I get a few weeks where I just want to just be in somewhere warm, and Christmas is normally that time. But like I said, I'm lucky, because the flip side is I have some great opportunities this Christmas to be able to see my customers face to face. You know, if you can come down to the Waltham Soul Town Hall on the 16th of December, next week Sunday, that will be an amazing one-day festival with the Black Brits UK, and that will be really, really cool. We're meant to be doing a little small bit on stage, but we'll confirm all of those bits.
Exciting!
So,
yes.
You know, you'll have to come down to see what it's all about. But more importantly, you'll get to see us live on the store. We're doing some really cool giveaways, some quirky bits and pieces. Some of our customers can get a nice try on and get featured on our website, and also get featured on our fan page with an opportunity to win some nice goodies and stuff, courtesy of FitMe Clothing. So there's a lot of exciting
A lot of stuff, guys. You have to follow him. The links will be below, up, wherever. I'll put them for you. Now that you're doing this full time, what is the biggest, not failure, because I don't really like that word, but turned into something positive for you that's been really tough as you've entered?
I think probably the key advice I would give anybody that's getting into business first time, or, you know, obviously people that have done it before, they kind of know from the pitfalls, etc. But, you know, you have to follow your dream. You have to take a risk. Of course you do. If you have the opportunity to get funding, crowdfunding, look at those options. It's important to look at those options, ladies and gents, because the thing is that sometimes what we don't appreciate as creatives is that it costs to make your vision manifest. It's as simple as that. Sometimes we can, we don't anticipate the cost for marketing, brand awareness, for products, for everything in between. So by being self-funding, although it can be, something that you can commend somebody for, it can also be to the detriment of what you're trying to build. So if you can plan and have things in place which will enable you to be more self-sufficient through the journey, then it enables you to be more creative, to be able to have a dynamic team that you can work with. So when I had windows in the early stages where I realized my passion was outweighing my actual finance, there comes a point when you have to rein it back and you have to stop and say, hold on a second, what is it going to take me to get to this level and that level and build my steps up? So for me, sometimes, I've had to step back and look at the bigger picture and look at what I'm able to do at this juncture in order for me to move forward. And important that whatever frustrations you go through, you make sure you get the frustrations out, whether it be Muay Thai, whether it be, going out, whether you go for a walk,
you need to hit the woods or whatever, swimming. Find something,
hit the punching bags, just do something to try and get it out, because the moment you can get it out and you can release it, enables you to then go back in fresh-faced, refocused, and move forward. Because, I can sit here and we can laugh and joke about stuff, but it's not always easy.
No,
people might only see the good and the fun parts and the exciting parts. And for me, one thing that you always need to remember is the passion has to always be there. When
first thing,
when everything else outweighs the passion, then maybe you're not in the right environment. The same with work. If you're just existing at work and not really living, then you're in the wrong environment.
You need to ask yourself questions.
And for me, I've had, and I don't want to even use past tense because, I am still a designer. I still, have, invested interest in architecture and a built environment. But for me, if I didn't really push this project now, it would never happen. And
you're the strength of your company.
And you have to be, because adversity will always happen and will always come at your door. You just have to find ways to overcome, move forward, and develop a thick skin to enable you to go forward. So for me, definitely don't give up on, I think you probably hear people from all walks of life say, never give up some hopes and dreams, and it's never meant to sound like a
cheesy
cliche.
And a cliche, but I think it's just today, everybody, since we're so, we hear it every day.
But sometimes you got to remember as well, is when you hear something so much, there's normally logic in it.
Of course.
If 201 different people are telling you the same thing, then probably there is some
value into what they're saying. You should probably listen to yours. But you did not answer my question. What's your biggest failure? That turned into something positive, which is good.
Well, maybe planning ahead. I kind of did answer
really?
it. Yeah, because when you think about what your resources will enable you to do right now against what you can do. For me, my passion was always up here. My vision has always been up there, but then you've also got to look at your financial input to that. So whereas I was
your finance is something you hadn't planned it ahead financially for you to be. You hadn't been realistic to yourself, saying that 100%. It would work out, because as you say, when you're passionate, you think everything's going to go well.
100%. And I think to myself, I think it's important, for me to remind people that yes, I am ultimately living a dream now, and this is ultimately still evolving into something really special for me. But it still wasn't without its trials and tribulations. Of course not.
I love it when people say, you're living the dream, but I'm like, if I was living the dream, then I wouldn't be doing half the stuff that I have to do. Because as a design or as a creative person, because you can be whoever you want to be. I don't really like the word entrepreneur, but when you're doing something of your own and you're creating it, you have to do, there's things that you're going to have to do that you don't like doing. Like, as you say, budgeting, having to deal with clients that, aren't the nicest people or whatever it is, you have to deal with it. So my other question to you is, what do you call yourself? Because you've said repeatedly you're a designer, but when you see somebody and you say, hey, for example, I will say I'm a style consultant. But if I had to say I'm a personal shopper, I'm an image consultant, I do this, I do that, by the time they finish. So what is your one word for them to understand who you are? Do you have one?
I think I would say I'm a creative.
You're creative?
Yeah, I'm a creative because ultimately my humble beginnings started with the built environment,
Yes.
interiors, architecture, but ultimately I think that I've got a good vision for other aspects of design, which I'm obviously implementing now in this clothing line. So for me, I would say creative. So creative founder is ultimately
Creative founder.
you
That's
know,
fine.
that is me.
That's fine. You can totally say it. Whatever works for you. We talked about inspiration, how you get inspired for your next collection that you have. I mean, it's not even collection because your collection changes. You have one, every year? How does that work for you?
Well, the thing is, at the moment, what it is that there is 4 collections within the actual overall brand itself. But what it is that I look at different things that happen during the course of a year. So, for example, like, I'm already looking into things that are trending for next year, but then also thought-provoking things that may resonate with different aspects of my audience. So, like I said before, it's not everything is trend related.
Mm-hmm.
I like things also to be very specific to my audience at that time. So, when you sometimes hear people say, people are having conversations and you want to be involved in those conversations whilst they're still happening.
You'll pick up on the conversation and then that's how you bring it up.
So it's about being involved in those conversations, and that could be anything related to arts and craft or something that is currently happening in a particular city and something that needs to be celebrated. So those could be different
That's
aspects.
where your inspiration comes from.
At the end of the day, for me, it's not a case where it has to be as regimented or as structured as things come out at
like
an
big fashion
point.
shows, or you're not necessarily inspired like from a designer or whatever. You just like the world is your inspiration, but then
I pick up on different aspects. Yeah, I pick up on different aspects at a time. What probably connects the strongest with me. So if something keeps reoccurring in a matrix of what we're doing at that point, I will say, right, okay, these are some nice concepts that I want to bring into into play, and then sort of like relay that passion or that vision through a crafted piece of clothing that then connects with a particular audience that are feeling that particular emotion or vibe at that particular time. Music is obviously a strong influence as well and stuff. So I think about stuff that is related to me growing up. So, fashion, music, the different cities that I'd visited, the different types of characters of people that I'd met, which is quite a unique thing for me because I've worked in so many different companies, different firms, small and large. What's been nice is that I've met a lot of colourful characters over the years and formed really some strong friendships over that time. So I also sometimes can use individual people and create these pieces which resonate with them, but also have a broader connection with other people that might be an audience of them or wherever else. Sometimes as well, influencers as well have a part to play in that. So sometimes maybe even working with some influencers in the near future. There is a few things happening in the pipeline
that you have nailed.
That which will be good as well for the brand, but also good for them because they get an opportunity to make their mark, their standpoint. Some really cool DJs that are also big on the music scene, which again can create some really nice, interesting pieces for them. So that's what's exciting about the way the brand is set up, is that it governs itself to move and evolve.
You're inspired by everything that surrounds you. So it is you, as you said, on the forefront, but it's different people.
And people give different. People give their input as well. And what's nice, I find for me, is that yes, I'm the brand owner, and sometimes when you're in it, you don't see the impact that it has on other people. But it's been really, really nice and warm to hear that there's been people specifically within certain industries that have already been inspired by what I've been doing, and kind of says to them, hey, here's a guy who's had a good 9 to 5 and has a good 9 to 5, but is still prepared to break boundaries and move out of his comfort zone, even at my ripe old age, and be able to create something that...
Please, darling.
But it's nice. It's nice. For me, it's nice to know that whenever I stop doing what I'm doing, whenever I retire, whatever happens to me in years to come, at least I can sit down and say, hey, I've given it a go. I've learned, I've evolved, and I've stepped out of my comfort zone
that's
to try
what I
and give
like.
something to people that maybe they haven't had before through another brand. So, you know, for me, that's what really, really motivates me, to be able to leave it all at the door and know that I've given it my best and given it my all. And hopefully inspired, you know, the younger generation
I think, you know,
as well.
at the end of the day, when you brought something up, which is interesting, I think that the most powerful person that can live is when you come to at the stage of the end of your life and you're like, okay, I've done what I wanted to do, and you can, I don't know how, like in the future, I'm not saying anything right now, but when you're on your deathbed, like having who will come and see you at your funeral. Is it the ones that, you know, you have touched, the lives you've touched? And I think that's what we're supposed to do also on this earth, is to be able to give back on some level, but also, you know, reaching your own personal goals, but including people with us, because that's just how humans are. I think today with social media, we made it so I, and you're not a person I, you're we. You're a team. So that's what is great about you, because you bring so many good values and good vibes. Like somebody that does not know you, once they'll start chatting to you, they know that you have a good heart. Yeah. So
I appreciate
from
that.
The islands.
No, you know, at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with being from the islands. You know, I have my mum to thank for that.
No, but what's great is that, you know, it's not. We're all humans. We all need recognition, and that is super important. Yeah. So, on the behalf of people watching, I want to say thank you to you.
Thank you so much.
But before we finish off, because you want to leave, but you're not going anywhere, wait. I have a few Olivia questions. I know you asked one already, which is the advice that you would give to your younger self. Yep. Which was on taking the time to plan all out. But one life skill that you could give to someone. Like if you could give it a piece, like I'm giving, like, I don't know, my heart to you.
So this is interesting. This is an interesting question. For me, I'm going to use my classic self as this example. Okay. One of the best lessons that I ever learned was never in an institution, was never in a school, was never at university. And I have to probably, for the most part, thank my mum for this. Okay. And ultimately, the history behind it is that our two parents, mother and father, my father is a very educated man, very determined man. My mum is a lovable, warm, friendly, sociable woman. Yeah. She lights up a room, in my humble opinion. She lights up an empty room. She engages with anybody, any walks of life.
Yeah, I have seen your mum. She looks very vibrant.
And to be honest with you, is the ability to be able to talk to people and build relationships. Because if I use myself as a classic example, I would never have got to where I am today with FitMe Clothing or in any of my previous projects and business relations by not having the ability to be able to break boundaries and speak to people. It was an important life lesson for me growing up in the 80s and 90s, because you have to remember as well, without getting too deep on it, it was a very, very difficult time from a racial point of view, and people wouldn't always understand what, you know, ethnic minorities may have to go through or not go through. So it was always very important for me to understand that I need to portray the best me that I can be and be able to educate people that were maybe not familiar with my background and my culture. And I found clever ways to be able to use that tool to basically connect with anybody. And that tool has got me where I am today in terms of FitMe Clothing, because as you rightfully said, I've been able to speak to people that never knew me, had never laid eyes on me before, and never knew nothing about the brand, but be able to communicate with them.
I must say that is one of your skills.
It is important to be able to communicate with people, because that will build business relationships, that will build customer relationships as well, because again, listening to people, you know, is important, because you can't have all the answers. Yes. But if you can have a dialogue which enables you to be engaging with people, then they're more likely to buy into what you've got to say. So probably the advice would be learn how to communicate with people, learn how to be personable, and have that about you. Don't be scared of stepping out your comfort zone, and try and believe in what you're doing, because even sometimes if you don't get the response that you're getting, it's not at the end of every sentence someone's going to say you've done a good job. You just have to believe that you're doing a good job, but your journey is ongoing. So you are going to make mistakes, but the key thing is to be able to communicate, and I think also communicate your passion about what you're doing in any shape that you decide to journey it, really.
I got nothing to say. Drop the mic. He just said it all. So
I talk too much. That's my problem.
Yeah, you do. You do talk a lot, but he does have golden nuggets, I must say.
Yeah.
2 more last questions before we finish. What is one piece of clothing you cannot leave the house without?
Ooh.
One piece of clothing. I'm not talking about technology, nothing. One piece of clothing
that you can't leave the house without. I have to say, probably a sucker for good denim, a good pair of jeans.
Good pair of jeans?
Yeah. I'd probably say.
You're a sucker for jeans?
I have to say that. Good pair of jeans. I would say sneakers, but I'm not always a sneaker wearer. But I think probably a good pair of jeans would probably be the piece.
Denim jeans. I like that.
Yeah.
That actually, I can't tell you right now, so you guys will have to wait. And the other thing, what is we all say the first impressions are important. What is one thing you want people to remember you for? If that makes sense.
I think,
for example, a girlfriend, she said, look, it would be my eyes. Not because, she's got gorgeous eyes. She does, but, her eyes speak and they're like for the soul. For somebody, what would it be for you?
I think if we're going on first impressions without knowing what someone's about, I think for me it would be my personality. I would want someone to engage my personality and understand what I'm about from that one conversation. They may not know about FitMe Clothing, they may not care about FitMe Clothing, but I think for me it would be knowing that I'm a genuine, bubbly personality, and that energy hopefully resonates with most people. So, and that's helped me open doors along the way. So I think definitely the personality.
Okay.
Yeah, I've been told I've got horrible eyes, so the personality will be...
Just put a bit of mascara and that's it. You'll be good. Where can the people find you? Go.
Yeah, so if you want to find me live and direct, you can go to www.fitmeclothing.com. You can also find us on Twitter, FitMe Clothing, Facebook page, FitMe Clothing, and we've got Instagram, FitMeClothing_LDN. And we are also on Pinterest and YouTube under FitMe Clothing. So like I said, loads of exciting things coming up. We've got a host of things that you will be told about in the next few weeks.
We're going to sprinkle it on to you guys.
But you've got to keep a bit of suspense, otherwise there'll be no point in living. So hopefully...
No point in living? You really went to that extreme?
You've got to have a bit of suspense. But no, seriously, that's where you can find me. And also, don't forget, next week, Sunday, at Walthamstow Town Hall on the 16th, we are in the Christmas Festival. So great stall with MKHSA Barbers, and we're going to be showcasing some great streetwear and some lovely bespoke pieces. So check it out.
Yes!
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.